Hi guys, so sorry, so sorry. I'm late today because my cameras just went out. All the cameras that I had here in my studio to show you and share with you. This is actually my MacBook camera. The other cameras just died, and I was trying to futz and fumble and get around, and I'm not quite sure why it's behaving like it's behaving, but the cameras are not active, and it's very sad. So I'm going with the one on my computer, and it's fuzzy. You see how fuzzy it is? Sorry that it's fuzzy, but I didn't want to miss you guys. I wanted to talk about this Disney Starcruiser closing in September, and I think one of the reasons it's closing in September is because they did have a few people gonna go on it. But you know, and I don't know if I mentioned it on the public channel. I did mention it on the I did mention, and I'm not even sure where I want to look now because I'm looking up at the cameras I usually have, and they have all decided to give up the ghost. So I apologize for the somewhat weird angles we've got here, breaking my heart, but this is the first time back in my studio. This is the storyboard I talked about last Friday when you saw Hostel. That was a short film I did a while back when I was younger. Just wanted to do it about my travels when I was backpacking through Europe. And it made me think that, I'm looking for something to do with my husband to celebrate our 20th anniversary. And I want it to be big. And I need to just kind of hone it in a little bit and think, so thank God for Terry's Tribe, because they sit and talk to me and give me some suggestions. It's all going to be wonderful because it's going to be with my husband, and we've been married 20 years next year. So I'm excited. This is also my birthday month. Whoop, 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 whoop. I was born on June 21st, and that's because God knew I needed every second of every minute of every hour of every day. So God gave me the longest day of the year to be born on, and thank goodness, because I do need it. So let me just tell you quickly about Terry's Tribe. I'd love to have you. Your voice needs to be heard. If you have been someone who subscribes to Patreon, first of all, let me warn you, it is not like any other Patreon page you are going to see. And it's not bragging. I'm just realizing that I'm a different person. And being a different person, I just do things. It just comes off differently, guys. So if you want to be a part of it, first of all, $5 a month is all it takes. So you can put quarters in a jar and be able to pay for this thing. And I over deliver all the time. We always have a Zoom call every week, as to the best of my ability. I am taking care of my parents still, but I still try to at least get that Zoom call in for the tribe all the time. I'm really doing pretty good, actually. Tonight, it'll be a nighttime Zoom call because many of the tribe works. So I want to try and do a nighttime, and then I do a morning one. So UK, Australia, Paris can join me. Portugal can join me. But if you want to be with like-minded people who are a community of upbeat, positive people, as we talk about things I can't really talk about on a public channel, we sort of go deeper in depth when we talk, deeper in depth. And that's the main reason that you would join the tribe, is to add your voice to this group and to talk to us together. That's really, I'm getting ready to, I'm working to do demos. I show some of the things I can't show publicly until they're done. It's my brain on, it's my brain on steroids with the tribe. So if it sounds like something you'd like to check out, it's just $5 a month. That's so you have skin in the game. If I'm going to bring myself to the table, I want you to bring something to the table. It allows me to be consistent. I got to be honest with you. If I didn't have that, it would be harder for me to focus on doing this right now. I might tend to shut everything down if I didn't have the tribe. To be honest with you, right now, working with my parents, this does take time. And I'm sure you guys understand that. And $5 a month is not much. And if it is a lot for you, there are going to be some things with Patreon that are going to shift and change. And I'm a Patreon ambassador as well. So one of the things that they're going to start to tell me is going to happen is maybe an opportunity to try the Patreon pages that you like for 7 days. But that's the subscription service. And so I got to tell you, the subscription service, I've got to learn more about. I don't know much about it. And the subscription service, I want to talk to the powers that be to find out that is it easy for you to opt out if you decide it's not for you? Do you know what I mean? The cool thing is you have 7 days to opt out before even putting your toe in the water. And I'm sure Patreon tells you very, very upfront and direct about, once after 7 days, you're subscribing. You follow me? So you can, just like if you're watching Disney Plus or Max or something like that, they tell you after 7 days you're committed. So I think it sounds like a really good idea. It's just I've got to look into it more and tell you about it, and opt to have it on my site. So if you want to visit for free for 7 days and check it out and see if it's something for you, then you can say yes, you want to stay, or hey, I liked it, but I'd rather eat, or whatever you want to say. Okay. That I'm not going to sit there and make you feel like, bad because it's not for you. To each their own, right? But it is a different channel. I'm going to tell you, it's a very, very different channel from any other channel on the Patreon page. I've been told this, and other patrons don't understand what I'm doing. And that's when I know I'm onto something. So there you go. As far please join us. Check it out. Patreon.com/Terri Harden. Okay. So I started to talk about the Starcruiser. It's only been open for 18 months, or less than 18 months, or around 18 months, or maybe 18 months and a few days, and they're already closing it. This is because, honestly, it wasn't a really good idea, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know about you, but do you really save up all your money to go to Walt Disney World to sit in a tin can looking at your phone? I mean, couldn't you do that at a restaurant? Look at your phone. I mean, it won't be as cool of a restaurant, but I thought when they talked about a Disneyland hotel that they would theme it more like Disneyland Paris did with their Marvel hotel. In Disneyland Paris, for those of you who haven't been, and of course, Terri Harden, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer slash pop icon, was responsible for creating the Dragon's Lair and designing the Dragon's Lair at Disneyland Paris. It takes a village, so there were others involved. I'm not saying it was all me, but I'm the one who campaigned to get it to be animated, and I'm the one who laid out the way it looks. So that was me, entirely me. And then others made it happen in Paris. And that's a long story. You could ask me sometime. But for now, that's a long story. The fact of the matter is this. And welcome to my studio, even though we're in a fog, because I don't know what went on with my cameras, but hey, you make lemonade out of lemons, and that's what I'm doing today. I didn't want to miss you guys, but that's why I was late today, is I was frantically trying to figure out what I did. What did I do to mess up my cameras? I have no idea. I can't tell you. I just don't know. I don't know. But anyway, technology in me is always an enigma. So thank goodness I have a husband that can kind of help me fix it later. So hopefully by Friday it'll be better. But of course, I'll have another fun pre-recorded video for you. I hope you enjoyed Hostel. Like I said, it was fun to do. It was interesting to do, and it was cool. But yeah, the Starcruiser thing, when I talked to people who did it, they said that the food was pretty good and nice, and the experience was okay, but there was no place to go outside. And this is because it's supposed to be a Starcruiser. So you can't very well go out and see the rest of Walt Disney World. That would kind of defeat the purpose. But as I started to say, I thought maybe when they were thinking of the hotel for Star Wars, it wasn't going to be this multi-million-dollar Starcruiser, but more like a Star Wars themed hotel where you could go to certain places and have certain Star Wars exclusive experiences indoors. The New York hotel in Paris, which is no longer, it is now a Marvel hotel. And I don't know if it's called New York Marvel, but I think it's just Marvel Hotel. One of the tribe members reported on it, Liz Reed. She's Johnny on the spot when it comes to Disneyland Paris. And she kind of gave us a quick walkthrough. There's displays of some of the Marvel costumes. There are areas where you can learn about the characters. There are stores that are Marvel centric. This is kind of what I thought for the Marvel themed rooms. This is more what I thought the Star Wars hotel, when we heard about it years ago, was going to be more like. You could stay at the Star Wars hotel in Walt Disney World, just like you could stay at Animal Kingdom or some of the other ones. I know Animal Kingdom because that's one of my favorite, but what is it? The Cosmopolitan you can stay at. And then there's another one, forgive me, the Keys, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, you guys can stay at all these different ones, and they're wonderful. So if you stay at Animal Kingdom, it has sort of the Africa experience, which is why I like it. I love when someone invites me to one of those bungalows where the animals are all around me and I just don't want to leave. Whereas if you don't have such an exquisite bungalow, that you can have a room that looks out over there, or even if that isn't what you have, you can always walk to see them. And it just was fantastic. It just gave me a little taste of Africa, and beautiful, just beautiful, very well done. And Disney did it spectacular design wise, and the room is gorgeous, and blah blah blah. So when I found out it was a Starcruiser, I thought this probably was not a good idea. In fact, I said it was a very bad idea, and now they're closing it because it's a very bad idea. I just don't think people, I mean, you, like I said, you people look at their phones enough. And many people who went on this tour told me that you had to kind of be connected to your phone a bit more than they wanted it to be. And that sort of broke my heart. I just don't think that people, well, I know it's closing after 18 months, and the price tag was up there. What was it? 4 to 6,000, depending on one person going or two people going, or family of four versus two people. I think two people were like 4 grand or whatever, and 6 grand for four or something like that. Anyway, a lot of money to be in a tin can. And if you're coming from someplace, that's not in Florida, I mean, even if you're in Florida, do you really want to spend your days in a tin can? The answer is no, I don't think so. Now, what I do think they could have done is, if they were going to do this Starcruiser, is think like an Imagineer. And maybe if you wanted to go outside, have some sort of green screen simulation so it would look like you were doing a spacewalk, or you were outside, maybe there was a arena where you could look at planets and learn about the solar system as told to you by Chewbacca or something. You know what I mean? So I'm just thinking that, this was not really well planned. And the interesting thing about film, and the interesting thing about money and production, is that sometimes when you have too much, you don't watch your dollars meticulously enough. You don't sit and say, what do we really need? How are we really going to make this spectacular and let it happen? It's just a lot of extraneous dollars being thrown at something that doesn't quite work. We have all the money in the world, let's just spend it. No, I mean, when some people, there's a lot of times when a person or when a group of people has a low budget, they've got to account for each dollar spent so that they don't go over budget, right? And so a lot of times a independent film might come off a little better on a lesser budget because they've had to really monitor how they spend their money. Number one, craft services. Let's make sure our actors are fed. So if we can't properly pay our actors, we can at least feed them and pay them something if they believe in the project. This is something that Steven Spielberg often said to us when we were working on the Flintstones, if we had a chance to ask him a question, which was rare because at the time doing Flintstones 1, he was doing um I just sorry, forgive me. Anyway, he was doing another very huge movie, and he was directing that movie while he had Brian Levant directing the Flintstones. But he came when there was a challenge. He came over to make sure that we were doing, that it was moving along the way he wanted, but that sometimes an independent film, or in your early years when you're working your way to big budget because you're getting known in the industry, you mind your dollars better, and therefore the movies can be more interesting because it's not a runaway train in the budget, it's not a runaway budget, etc., etc. It just feels like this Starcruiser wasn't completely and fully thought out. Like, what is the audience? You might say it's for the Star Wars audience, but I just don't think people want to be in a tin can 24/7. And the Star Wars experience and the experiences I heard happened weren't necessarily, people weren't feeling like it was worth the money that was spent. I didn't go because honestly, on the surface, it didn't interest me. So when I saw it and I saw the videos that people posted, they even had walkthroughs, and most of the people were looking at their phones. I thought, this is not what I want. I can't stand to look at my phone in my home. And I have to have it so that I can be notified at any moment in case the hospital needs to contact me about my father. But I don't like it being next to me. I don't like it being ringy. I don't, I over there. Okay, please be over there. So I laugh when Apple gives me the how long I've had screen time on my phone because it's hilarious, you know. Are you ever going to be on your phone? Sometimes is what the message says. But it's just me. Understand I'm an older person. I'm 66. I'm not ancient, but I come from a time when there were no computers and the way you communicated was like this, in person, not on a video, not on a camera. Am I complaining about it? No. I love being able to reach a lot of people via a broadcast or a Zoom call. I think it's the greatest blessing in the world. And so today, when I was having technical difficulties, I didn't panic. I didn't freak out. I just said, hey, those who show up will show up, and those who don't, well, they'll watch it later, I hope. And I hope you do. The main thing is that, you know, I made lemonade out of lemons and wanted to talk to you today because I wanted to share with you how crazy I think this Starcruiser thing was from the very beginning. I just don't think it was a good idea. But we have a couple of people that decided to weigh in here, so let's hear what they say here. Kirk, hello, Kirk. How are you? I think the big reason the Star Wars Hotel closing is that Disney tried to restrict the guests' movement. If I'm not on vacation and I want to pop over to the Magic Kingdom to ride the Haunted Mansion, well, this is exactly what I'm saying, Kirk. I'm going to leave your comment up just because. This is what I'm saying, that you had to stay there because you're supposed to be in space. So you can't just step out and, you can't just go out the airlock and go to the Magic Kingdom because you're supposed to be in space. But this wasn't well thought out. I think it would have been so much better. And I think that's what you're saying here, Kirk, is if it was a Star Wars hotel, well, maybe you had an experience like that, but then you can come out and it's part of a show. You go in and maybe you have a special room where you get the galactic experience. Then you get out and you go into maybe a normal hotel room that's Star Wars themed, and maybe you have an evening of costume extravaganza or even a cosplay contest. And then if you want to pop over to the Magic Kingdom or to the Animal Kingdom, you can do so, as Kirk has said here. You want that freedom because a lot of you people have saved up a lot of money to have a Walt Disney World vacation. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to pay $6,000 and be trapped in a tin can, which is what it felt like. You know, um, Bowie, I'm sitting in a tin can, far, far away. You see, do you really want to enact that? No, I don't think so. And I think that's what killed it. Maybe could have the greatest food, but I think they should have made like a hybrid where if you wanted to have that completely enclosed, and maybe it could be something where you're temporarily weightless. You could kind of feel like maybe you were temporarily weightless. I think it would be a great idea. And right now, it's true. Disney is cutting corners. Financially, they're trying to look how to, they're bleeding in certain areas and they're trying to stop the bleeding. So sure, they got to do that. But the reality of it is this. If I was to look at this again and maybe revisit it, I would do a Star Wars hotel. And in the hotel, maybe have an experience like the Starcruiser experience where people like Kirk could go to Walt Disney World and the Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom and Downtown Disney and see the things that they came to see. Because what is the point? It doesn't make sense to me. It never did. There was no way I wanted to spend this kind of money only to sit in a tin can and return home. And it's interesting because you're flying in a tin can to live in a tin can to fly home in a tin can. I mean, really? This is what you want out of life? Tough. Very tough. Very, very tough. And apparently, my thoughts I'm not alone in my thinking because it's closing. 18 months open and it's already dead. So one of the things for those of you who did experience it, who maybe even loved it or didn't mind being in a tin can say is you were there when, because that's going to end in September and everyone will be. Well, I was there when it was, and you can tell us all about it around the campfire, and they be there with open ears and big round eyes as you tell your stories of once upon a time Disney had the Star Wars Galactic cruiser that failed miserably. Before, it was the House of the Future, which I didn't think failed so miserably, but it is considered a failure as well. But those who saw it, like myself, go, I was there when. Yes, indeed. You know, it's that kind of thing. I mean, I was there when with the flying saucers, which to this day is my favorite ride Disneyland has ever done. And I wish they'd bring them back. Not Luigi's Tires, the flying saucers. Look it up. That's the one I want, and I'd love it to be in Tomorrowland, and I'd love it to be just like it was, only this time a chip propels it instead of a giant building that's full of computers, because now you have the technology. It could be phenomenal. I absolutely love that ride. When it broke down, I didn't want to leave that ride. So there are things that were good that had to be discontinued because of maintenance difficulty keeping them up. But now technology has really caught up with those little flying saucers, and we could easily do them again, but we don't want to do it's a 1 or 2 man vehicle. I mean, live with it. Disney, you have a big line. That's what Dumbo is. So why not, dedicate a flying saucer area, because those were killer good and are still killer good. I would rarely go anywhere else. Well, okay, so I'll share it with Mr. Toads. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, yes, absolutely. So this is my feeling. If you have a comment, please comment over here. If you went and did the Starcruiser attraction and it was more than looking at your phone, maybe I'm oversimplifying it, sitting in a tin can, because Kirk is saying he wanted to get out. So who wants to pay that kind of money to feel trapped? Not this girl. No. So I appreciate you sharing that with me. I agree with you, man. I want to be on Endor running through the forest with Ewoks. Well, there you go, Marissa. And with the way things are simulators now, there's a lot of simulators. So I still haven't done Spider-Man because I understand you have something glued to your face. Not so sure I want to ride that ride. Okay. Just me. Marvel isn't my major thing. And I'm not so sure I want to see a ride like this. You know what I mean? With this. No. So I haven't ridden it. Personal choice. But let's address what you're talking about, Marissa. And I think it's a good suggestion, because you could have a section in the Star Wars Hotel that allowed you to put yourself in there. There are so many things that can be done. And there are so many things that I think you guys would really enjoy. I don't know if you ever saw, what is it called? Defending Your Life with Meryl Streep. It's such a great movie. If you haven't seen it, it's an older movie, but it really is a good movie. It's about the place you go in between before you go to heaven or before you go back on earth to relive your life and learn more. But anyway, Meryl Streep, there's a section where it's called the Past Life Theater, where you actually go and see some of the people in your past life. It connects with you and shows you who came before you, and you can see, maybe Joan of Arc was your distant relative or something, or, that kind of a thing. And maybe a president from before. And in any case, it's really great. So if you take that venue where you're standing and you're looking at it and you're getting all excited because you're seeing all these characters from your past life, why not do what you're saying here? Create something like that, the Endor experience, or perhaps you got to pretend you're the Mandalorian, which everybody loves, or maybe you could be the little Grogu. There are so many things they could do at the hotel, and you could still leave to go see other parts of Walt Disney World, because after all, it is called Walt Disney World, not Walt Disney Starcruiser. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking is a cool thing. Forgive me. I just want to make sure. Yeah, there we go. I just want to make sure that just want to make sure it's not people reaching me for my father. He's still at the hospital, so that's why you're hearing the dinging, and I apologize for that. But that is something that needs to happen, so I'm not apologizing. I'm not apologizing it with it aggressively. Okay, I'm just saying I got to check. It's just the way of things. The way of things is I've got to check and make sure my dad's okay. My dad's okay. My dad's okay. Okay. So yes. So this is, I think, Marissa, you have a very good point. And I think this is part of what could happen So let's say you got the Starcruiser, it's closing in 18 months, it's closing in September, and it really was one of those, lead balloon things that they did for millions of dollars. Now, what can you do with what you have? How about creating a hotel? Is there anyone at Walt Disney World that has an area of Walt Disney World? And I don't travel there often. I get there, I go there, but I go there to see Animal Kingdom. I go see Animal Kingdom and their Disney Springs. Is it still called Disney Springs or is it something else? In any case, a lot of times for appearances and connecting and seeing other people, staying with friends and stuff like that, and then getting in the park. I really love the Animal Kingdom because they have Yak and Yeti, and I love that restaurant. Not to mention, there's some beautiful places to walk through at night, like Pandora. Really amazing things. In any case, the whole thing about Walt Disney World is each and every land is very special and fun and cool, in my opinion. Has lots of cool stuff. I mean, in what is it, Hollywood, or I don't know what they're calling it now. It used to be Disney MGM, right? I don't know what they call it now, but I love to go over by the Star Wars attraction and see the full size walker. And then there's a section where you can be a Jedi, and I think it's mostly for children. So you're envious of all the kids that get to be a Jedi and do lightsaber battles and stuff like that. But I think this is what you need to do with the hotel, and so people like you, Marissa, can do that indoor experience or do a Mandalorian experience. Goodness knows we have the technology, so why not use it and make some really special opportunities for people to do? I think it's simpler now. It's definitely simpler than it was before. So this is what I do. I take apart gently that Star Cruiser, put it in storage, and then reimagine the Star Wars Hotel more like what we were thinking of originally. And don't make it so that you need to be able to see outside, but you can go places. Maybe there's a particular restaurant where you feel like you're on a Star Cruiser and you're eating, and your food comes in little foil packets or something, like in 2001 or in Dark Star or in Star Trek. So up to you. I mean, sometimes you may not even be interested. I love beautiful cuisine, and I'm very happy to have the cuisine that we have. So, but that's just my thought as an Imagineer. And I just think that would be something that could be a lot of fun. So I don't think it's a lost cause. I just think it needs to be rethought out. And I'm more than happy to help. Can you tell? Can you tell I'm more than happy to help? Thank you for that comment, Marissa. It was a really good one. Hi, Bob. Oh, it's Rose. Hi, Rose. I'm on my 15-minute break. I miss watching Terry. Hope everyone has a magical day. Rose, thank you for popping in and saying hello. Bob says, I agree 100% with Kirk and you, Terry. The biggest reason is claustrophobia. Yeah, and looking at your phone. I mean, how many times have you gone to a restaurant and seen two people opposite each other and they're communicating by their phone? This to me is just surreal. I think I'm being punked because and many of you who are born in this era, this is what you do. And when you're looking at someone face to face, you're not quite sure how to communicate without the aid of this little device right here. But this is, for me, something that works nicely, but not my idea of it's not my idea of something that it's not my idea of something that is how can I say it, is big, is fabulous, is no, it's kind of I don't think so. Yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Those of you who are good at it, good for you. But I think talking to someone face to face is something that I've always enjoyed. They can read my eyes, they can read my face. They can see how I'm doing. This is nice because I can reach way out to all of you that are in countries that I could never see, would never have this opportunity. So it's very, very special. I often say to me this one thing, and maybe it'll help you. When I was backpacking through Europe in 1977, that's right, 1977, the year of Star Wars was dropped. My father was nervous because I was only 19 years old, 18, 19 years old. And my dad was really concerned that I would not be safe, I had 2 friends go with me, and I backpacked all across Europe because I was an adventurous young lass. It was fantastic. I was there for 2 months, backpacking all over, and it was really a dream that I'll never forget. Again, remember, for my 20th wedding anniversary, we can keep it simple as long as you're with the right company. That's all that really matters. So, thank you for that little thing. Look at the stuff in between. Now there is the whoa trip that we could do, or there's the one in the middle where we can just have a really good time, relax, and be with each other, which why not, right? That is the thing that makes it most special when you're celebrating a wedding anniversary. So I really appreciate some of the things that you guys have suggested. Most of you suggested it on the tribe people like Bob Burdine and Rose Burdine. And I appreciate that all the time. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out where to go with my beloved husband to celebrate our 20th. And there are some really super califragilistic adventures that I'd like to go on, but they're an investment of a lot. So, and right now, I think they're a bit me-centric, meaning all about Terry. So I want to kind of get a better idea. And I think my husband is one of these people that's kind of like, as long as I'm with you, I'm good. So, and I appreciate that about him, but I want to do something special as we discover things together, because that's one of my favorite parts of being with him, is as we make discoveries together and we relax together and talk together and stuff like that, like we do here, but we have this beautiful environment in which to do it. So yeah, so the tin can of the Starship Cruiser would not be what either of one of us would like to do. And we both love Star Wars, but we've just not been that impressed with certain things, and that's because we were there at the beginning, and we love it. We love it. We love it. But my point was, in order to call my dad every week from wherever I was in Austria. Beautiful, beautiful country, but I had to call my father. It was an Iron Curtain country, the portion I was in at least, and it cost $1,000 a minute to call my father from where I was back in 1977. $1,000 a minute, and my dad was not a wealthy man, so I was worried about my family. In fact, I thought about skipping that week, but I knew my parents, if I skipped that week, would get really freaked out. So I put the call through, and the way you used to do it back in the day, you did not just pick up your smartphone and dial the number. I mean, guys, that is what you really need to appreciate. Okay? Back in the day, there just wasn't. Okay? The conveniences that are happening now are phenomenal. So when they don't work, don't lose your you know what. Just breathe, because it's so amazing to have a Zoom call and have people from all over the world join you. When I was backpacking with my 2 friends and I had to go to a uh, place where there were operators who could put the call through to the US and warn you it was going to be $1,000 per minute. So when the call went through, it was probably like 3 a.m. My father said, "Hello." I said, "Dad, it's your daughter." "Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad. It's your daughter, Terry. It's $1,000 a minute. I'm fine. I'm safe. I'll call you in a week when I'm a little closer and it doesn't cost so much. I'm well. Goodbye." Click. Absolutely 60-second call, and then I was gone. So today, when you pick up your smartphone and can call Portugal, China, Paris, wherever you want pretty much, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. Oh, I'm in my photos now. I got to tell you, it is a gift. It is truly a gift to have one of these crazy smartphones. And so it's cool. It's wonderful. I appreciate it. I'll tell you right now, the reason I love the smartphone, something I never had. I used to have a Thomas guide. My husband still has a Thomas guide. If I think about it, you are out there going, "What the hell is a Thomas guide?" Because you're too young to even remember such a thing. They were fun, but they had they purposely put in mistakes in the Thomas guide. And so with this, all you have to do is pull up on a map, or you've got this amazing thing called Google where you can search for just about anything you have a question about. Like I was watching Game of Thrones and I love Ted Lasso, and the season just ended last week, the final season. And I really, really fell in love with the series. I think it's brilliant. So if you want a reason to subscribe to Apple Plus for 7 days and binge, 2 words, Ted Lasso. But in Ted Lasso, there's 3 guys in a bar who I absolutely fell in love with. It's a lot like if you watched um, the one with I can't, it's terrible. When I try to pull it up really quick, especially on a Monday, it I almost had it. X-Files. X-Files. Another thing I just was obsessed with, X-Files. In X-Files, there were the 3 guys that solved something. Those were the ones I really fell in love with. I really love the people who are the salt and pepper of the series. I rarely fall in love with the leads. Lasso is an exception. There isn't a character I don't love in Ted Lasso, A to Z. He could come on, do nothing, do a look, disappear. Honestly, don't care. But all the way up to the leads. I love Rebecca. I love Roy Kent. I love Jamie. I love Ted. I love them all. Love them all. I am partial to Higgins and his wife. They're actually married in real life. And you can see that on the screen, which is beautiful. Sudeikis is really a genius. And I love watching his genius in all 3 seasons. So if you're kind of discouraged with certain things on TV, or you're sick of the world hating each other, I highly recommend do your 7-day trial with Apple Plus and binge Ted Lasso. It'll change your life. Seriously, it will. But there was a young man in the group of bar watchers, 3 guys who are Brits, who are watching their favorite team and are always in Ted's face because, of course, what does he know about soccer or football, as they call it? In any case, I was watching Game of Thrones over the weekend, the first season, and a guy popped up. And I said, oh my God, this has got to be one of these 3 guys. Only he's young and cute and has those baby-like qualities because it looks like it was one of the first things that he really got to be a part of. And he doesn't last long. He's not a season regular. He's got a small bit and then he's gone, but he's fabulous. And it was wonderful that I recognized him. We were able to go on Google. Actually, my husband did. Google his name because I could not remember the character name of Ted Lasso, and proved that it was indeed, I think the name was Jeremy. And Jeremy has a Game of Thrones small role, but it was delightful to see him in Game of Thrones because I love him in Ted Lasso. My point is, in today's world, there isn't much you can't find out by looking it up. Where back in my day, $1,000 to call my dad and let him know I was okay while touring through Europe, and a newspaper or events that you could go to learn more about films and TV, etc., etc. Really different. Is it better? In some ways, yes. In other ways, no. But the fact of the matter is, like I said before, it is so attainable now. It's pretty exciting. And to be able to do a map. One of the places I hate to travel here in California is Beverly Hills. Some of you may love it, but it's got all of these permitted areas. So there's really hard, it can be challenging to find parking if I have an audition there. And also, once I'm there, I can't get out of the place before these smartphones. Now, all I have to do is pull up a map and click home, and they get me out of there. They get me out of Beverly Hills without me going around like a mouse in a maze trying to find which way, one way this way, one way that way, one way. And I'm like, I want to just go home after an audition. Now I just pull it up on the map. I'm always guaranteed a good, safe way to get home. And I love it. That's my favorite thing about the phone. I'm going to be honest with you. The maps make it worth it. Not to mention having your camera at your fingertips. Okay, that's another thing I think is pretty cool. As a phone, it works okay. But as you've noticed, everyone can get in touch with you, including spam callers. So that's not fun at all. I don't think it was good for spam callers to be able to infiltrate your phone on your private message. I think this should be outlawed, honestly. You want to message me on Facebook or something. Okay, what am I going to do? But my private messages are private messages. That's what it's supposed to be, private messages. I don't need a private message telling me, things that are unsavory. I'm just going to say that. A spam call trying to part me from my money because I've won a gazillion dollars because I've learned how to breathe in and out. Ugh. It's just terrible. Anyway, because I'm in the demographic of gullible old people, which is terrible. They all warn you. If you're over 65, you're known as gullible old people by those who would extort your life savings from you. It's just terrible. I wish they would use their brains for good instead of evil. But that's kind of what as you're listening to me today, this is what my channel is all about. Please subscribe if you like this roller coaster that I put you on today, where I start on the topic and I end with things like this. So just asking you to take a look, and if you like it, please continue to join me because I love having you here. So it's awesome. And I will bring back the Ask Me Anythings eventually. Right now, I'm taking care of my parents, which is why I have on Fridays. I only broadcast live on Mondays for this public channel. Patreon.com/Terri Hardin. I broadcast Mondays and Fridays live and also have a Zoom call during the week sometime. Today, it's going to be the nighttime one because some people work, so I want to take care of my patrons. So what else was I going to say about that? Oh, also, I do a pre-record because I want you guys, I'm trying to get, let me say that again. There is no try. I am working on getting more pre-recorded videos for you on the public channel and also some tutorial things in my Patreon page because many people have asked. I'm a world-class puppeteer and pretty much a pop icon. I've done a lot. Google me and then stand back. Terri Hardin and stand back because it just goes like this, which is very nice. It's very flattering. Not a lot. I mean, my IMDb is not up to date because IMDb is full of bugs. And so I don't really like to go to IMDb. I have to make sure that I'm fully protected because they, for some reason, have a lot of malware that can get on your computer. So I'm very cautious when I go there. But you can just Google me and learn quite a bit. Or you can reach out to me and say, hey, I'd like to know more. I would like to know more. Would you like to know more? I would like to know more. In any case, the Ask Me Anythings will return. It is my birthday month, as I mentioned, so I don't know if I will do an Ask Me Anything this month. I will have to wait and see. If I do, it would be probably around the 23rd, but I will keep y'all. I'll keep y'all posted, all right? I'll let you know. Okay, good. I'll keep you posted. And we'll do an Ask Me Anything if you're interested in doing it. I'll start when I'm really savvy and I've got this together and I'm a little more solid because I've got a lot of stuff like this that I just go, especially on a Monday. Something comes across the bow that I've got to do to help my dad and my mom, and I have to visit them. And I'm only one little human being that also has work to do. It can be, you can feel guilty about not seeing your parents 24/7. And I have to fight that every single day because I have pieces that I've got to get done in here. I'm semi-retired, not fully retired, and I want to get that stuff done. So I have to be disciplined about it. So I'm going to start to really break it down in a calendar like I used to. I saw my friend who is a book author, and we're about to release our second children's book in the series. First was Giggling Pumpkins, and that's going to be coming out, and we're working on that as well. So there are some disciplines I have to start to exercise, and I have to stick to them because otherwise you can't let one thing die while trying to nurture another. But there are times when you've got to just hit the ground running when it comes to your parents in situations like my dad in the hospital. So I work to broadcast every week, and I work to do the pre-records. Thank you to my husband, Lindsay, the pre-records, and I hope you enjoy Hostel. Let me know in the comments if you like the pre-recorded videos. I know you'd rather me be live. Many have said so, but this allows me to have time to visit my parents on Friday for real if the rest of the week goes all belly up for me. So you're helping me out by loving my pre-records And if you have any suggestions of what you want to see pre-recorded, there will be more. I will eventually work hard with my husband to do more during the week for public and for my Patreon page. And still staying at $5 a month for most people. There's going to be $10 a month, $25 a month levels, tiers in the Patreon page. But right now, I haven't really been populating those. So I always encourage you to stay at 5 unless through the good graces of your heart, you want to contribute more because you believe in what I'm doing and appreciate the Patreon page. I appreciate if you back it up with a little more. That's so kind of you, but you don't have to. But tell your friends. If you think a person can benefit from the page, then tell your friends, because it would be great to have you all there with me and all of us doing the bit together. So there we go. Let's see what else you have to say. Mike Pruitt, how are you, buddy? How are your parents? As I said, my dad went into the ICU a week back Saturday, and now he's out of the ICU on the medical floor. But I need to check on him again today. I did see him Friday. He was very, very tired. He's fighting an infection again. And I just go to visit him. But the good news is my sister from Hawaii has come in. And so anytime she visits my father, it takes a little bit of pressure off me. More of a busy person. I've been taking care of my parents completely by myself for about 5 years now. And as well, my sister lived in Hawaii. So honestly, I don't know if it's going to be any different, but let's say she just sees people during the weekend, sees my mom and dad during the weekend. That takes the pressure off of me. And I'm grateful for whatever she does, because I am now in a system. Well, I mean, sort of whatever you can do with the system. So I do the best I can. And I end up saying, I'm doing the best I can. I hope you'll work with me, to my mom and my dad. I've told my mom, my dad used to drive and see my mother every day. And I would see her once or twice a week. But now that my dad is not well, I've got to make sure that they're both getting visits from me. My father says very sweetly that he completely understands and, doesn't fault me for it. But by the same token, he's struggling. And I know to have a nice, friendly voice come to him from me is important. So I work hard to see him. Like today is a Monday. I won't be able to go see him today. There are also hours that I need to see him. I'm really good. Like when he was in the ICU, I was able to go see him before normal visiting hours. Were normal visiting hours at the hospital. Forgive me. I just want to get my nails clean. They're gross. There we go. Sorry. I this is me, guys. Squirrel. Oh, that feels so much better. I don't know why, but I also need to cut my nails. I can see that now. I can't ever let my nails be too long because sculpting in clays and waxes, they get in the way. But anyway, I digress. So to tell you about my mom and dad, my mom's doing great. She has a lady next to her that's a little weird, sometimes good, sometimes bad. So it's always entertaining. I won't burden you with some of the things that this woman does that kind of freak me out a little bit, but I just do my best to keep my blinders on and move over to my mother. But my dad is in a room with another person who's very quiet also, and he's just trying to get better. So that's the goal. I went there on Friday, and as I did when he was in the ICU, and said to them, if he won't eat, give him a shake, a protein shake. I would love it to be an Herbalife shake, but apparently a lot of people donate those like insurers. So they do that, so that's fine. Just get the protein shake. That's what he usually eats at night because he's not hungry at night. So do the best you can. And if you have to do a feeding tube, which is what we were discussing over the weekend, then we need to do that. So that's kind of what's happening with my dad right now. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. You'll happy to know that I think I mentioned that my husband wasn't feeling well. He's doing much better now. Yay! So I'm excited about that. I'm eager for my dad for my husband, because he's got a little bit of a cough, And but it's almost gone, and I'm so happy to see him healthy because it was a challenge for me. I'm not going to lie, to make sure he needed what he had, what he needed. My dad had what he needed. My mom had what she needed. Also, did I mention I pay their bills and make sure that things get answered? And now the VA is wondering where my dad is because he should be at the VA hospital, but the ambulance doesn't go there when it's an emergency. So that's the way my life is, as I just spoke to you right now at 50, at, what is it, 45 RPMs on a record turntable. And if you don't know what that is, Google it. But the point is, on vinyl, you all know what vinyl is. So the point is this. The point is definitely this, that it's a lot. And I know you're all out there and you know it's a lot. So I'm not telling people who aren't in it that it's a lot. But you have to take care of yourself too, which is why the tribe is so good for me, because I will check in with them twice a week and they keep reminding me. And they don't mind to continue to tell me that which they have told me. Are you taking care of yourself? You need to take care of yourself. Or they just chat with me, and being able to hear about what they're doing has made me relax and be calm and to get rest whenever possible. I did not sleep well last night, so that's another weirdo problem. So when I woke up today and the camera was weird, I was like, let's just find a camera that works and get to you, which is what I did. I did tinker with it a bit, which is why I was late today, but that's because I really wanted to get in here and give you the cameras that I'm used to, but it didn't happen. So anyway, yay. So what's going on? Let me just say a couple of other things. Into the Spider-Verse, which I loved. I have to tell you, I'm not a Marvel person, but that dropped Friday, right? And if you liked it, let me know. One person warned me it's very dazzling, and since I get motion sickness, it may not be something that I should watch on the big screen. A smaller screen might be a little easier for me, so I may have to wait on that one. But it was great that I have people like you that all tell me, especially the tribe. Again, Mike, thank you for asking about my parents. It is so kind of you. I appreciate it. Good morning. Getting a short break. Great to see you. Barbara, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. I also send little gifts to my patrons. And while I'm thinking about it, let me just pop over and give you that link again here, patreon.com/Terri Hardin. If you want to go and check it out, check it out. Nothing comes out of the screen and grabs you and forces you to join, but it is a really fun thing to be a part of if, you want to do that. So now I'm going back to Barbara. And Barbara, I'm going to pop her up here again as she's saying she's getting her little break. She's part of the tribe. And the thing I love about, every year I do a Christmas gift and I do it digitally. I send it to you digitally, and I do it in what's called a vector file. Those of you who do that sort of thing know what a vector file is. It's one that you can blow it up really big, or you can make it really small. And I send something to everyone in the tribe so everyone can get one, because shipping costs are insane. So I used to try and send physical gifts, but some people, it was like $120 to send them something that was maybe worth, 50 or 30 or 10, depending. So now what we do is do a lot of digital gifts or pins, but I don't send pins for the Christmas gift. I send a digital gift, and then you can do whatever you want. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because Barbara took the gift this year and made shirts, and it was very clever. It was originally designed as Muppet bookmarks. That was the Christmas gift. Oh, tea is so good, especially when it's hot. Thank you, Deanna from the tribe, who talked to me about a hot pad for my office, and boy, for my shop, and boy, oh, what a gift. Hot tea all the time. But anyway, she did this, and I posted it on the tribe page because I love to see what people do with these pieces. Another person did garden stakes. Like they transferred them, then they put them in wood, and they cut them out, and they put them in a garden, in their garden. They could also take the vector file, and if you are a Cricut person and you're part of the tribe, you can actually put it in your Cricut and make things for yourself on your Cricut machine too, or your what would we call that? A paper vinyl cutting machine, your cutting machine. You can do that too. So it's very versatile, but it's digital. So I send it to you in an email, and you all get a gift. So that too is part every year, and I love to see what the artists do with them. So very, very exciting, and all for $5 a month. Like I said, put a jar by the door, throw a quarter in it, you know, right? And by the end of the month, you've got your it for that. So that or laundry money if you decide you don't like the tribe for a while. But I can't imagine you wouldn't because they're great people. Hello, honey. Have a great day. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, honey. I made it, y'all, says David. I'm glad you did, David. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you. See you later, says Rose. She's going back to work. Rose is a very giving, loving soul, and she's working, so it was nice of her. I like your shirt, Terry. Yes, the shirt came from Bob and Rose Burdine, and it's a Hawaiian theme with Star Wars in it. So you've got, I don't know if you can see it very well, but this is R2D2 over here, upside down, and you've got all kinds of clever Star Warsy things hiding in here. So when I'm bored, I can just look for the various creatures in here. But it's a lovely Hawaiian shirt and it's colorful. A requirement my husband asked me to do, and I don't always fulfill because sometimes I got my apron on and you're catching me in the interim. So that's what's going on there. Thank you, Bob and Rose, for this amazing shirt. Hope to see you tonight on Zoom. Then Rose and I can watch together. And that's also cool. So your family can gather around your Zoom and y'all can join us, for $5 a month, not each, just, Zoom camera. Yep. It's all about getting us together. Audrey, have you seen Space 2020? Great use of the space theming for a restaurant. No, I haven't. Can you send me the link, Audrey? I know you can because you're good at this. Audrey, part of the tribe, and very, very dynamic and charming, and came to see me and everyone at the last Disney and a Fan event in May with her boyfriend, who was absolutely adorable. People just kept saying they're adorable, especially Connie. She kept saying, Audrey, your boyfriend's so adorable. Got to watch out for her, Audrey. Got to be careful with that wonderful boyfriend of yours. But anyway, two very creative people, and so much fun to be around, and a joy to have in the tribe. So tonight, and it's harder for people East Coast and impossible for people across the pond to do a nighttime Zoom with me because it's like 2 a.m. for them or something stupid. So what we do is we do nighttime for those who are working, and then an early morning on Wednesdays. I'll usually do, not in the same week, for people who then from across the pond can join me. So usually it's 8:30 in the morning Wednesday for the tribe, or 6:30 at night on Mondays. And that's what we end up doing. So tonight we're going to do one because I don't know where else to fit one, and I want to make sure I get one in for those that are working. So that's the way that works in the tribe. I don't know if you even care, but I decided to tell you anyway. Joe says, hi, everyone. How about a complete overhaul of Tomorrowland? Just tear it all down and redesign it from the ground up. They need to do that every 10 to 15 years. Anyway, it hasn't been especially futuristic since 1967 redesign. Honestly, I would like them to go back to what Walt saw in Disneyland. Okay? Get futuristic everywhere you want, everywhere else. But I think there are people out there, first of all, the younger generation, and if you are the younger generation, and I mean anyone younger than me, I'm about to be 66 in days now. Tick, 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 tick. I'll call everyone a kid. You could be 65 and I'm going to say, oh, you're just a kid. Don't take it wrong. I love kids. So it's an affection. It's a thing of affection. Don't think of it as like, you're just a kid. It's, oh, you're so young. Have fun. You're so cute. Anyway, that's kind of me. So the point is, young ones, that those of you who are the young ones who, grew up with this technology, who are the ones I'm always reaching out to and saying, help me, I don't understand this. I'm kind of like, you guys sail it like pros because you were born with it. I just think you guys are amazing. And I'm always looking to you for an answer on how to make things a little less stressful for me, the old dog in the room. Or an old dog in the room. Anyway, my point is here that I really think Disneyland should be the way Walt saw it, because once you erase it, you can't get it back. I mean, you could get it back if people brought it back, but I think there's a lot of people now who have children and grandkids. They want to show what Walt envisioned. And you could do that with Disneyland. I think there are several things that would happen. First of all, millennials and X, what do they call you guys? Y generation, X generation, all these generations that are younger, your 20s, your 30s, um, your 40s, etc. Even in your teens, I think many of you like the 50s and 60s. You like the music of the 70s and 80s, 50s through the 80s. You're listening to it all the time. I go, wait a minute, that's my music. Why aren't you listening to the music you like? Because they are listening to the music they like. They like the 50s through the 80s. And this impresses me. So if they like it so much, why not let Disneyland go back to the way Walt looked at it? That's number one. I think people would come, but maybe not everyone would come, and the park would be less crowded. What I'm hearing is even with appointments, the park can be very, very crowded. Now I'm talking Disneyland, not Walt Disney World. That's another park. Okay. But Disneyland was the only place where Walt walked. And so you could have like a visual of what he saw. So take Tomorrowland back to what he saw. And I know y'all like Star Tours, but maybe they can put it somewhere in Galaxy's Edge and bring back the Mighty Microscope because it's great. It's such a great attraction. It was so much fun. And now with technology, you could bring back the flying saucers, which guys are off the chain. I'm not kidding. They are so cool, so amazing. But I think if you, my feeling is what they're doing out in downtown Disney here in California is kind of a retro Calder, the artist Calder looking land. And if they keep that up, that's our Tomorrowland from 67, like Joe was talking about. So what I'm saying is leave that alone. And then if people want more modern parks, more upgradable parks, they should go to any of the other, what is it, 5 that we have. Go to Paris, go to Shanghai, go to Hong Kong, go to Walt Disney World, go to California Adventure Park here and see that stuff. But have this little pearl, this little gem here in Anaheim the way it is. And if it turns out that people start to not go because it doesn't have the pull that I think it will have, then you could always change it up. But I really think if you went back to that and gave it that kind of Gibson Girl feel, that fun country feel, or that wonderful feel it had when, you don't have to get rid of, you don't have to go back to the coupon book, and you don't have to go back to the tickets if you don't want to. You can keep all the technology, but I really think you need to bring back some of the attractions that we've lost. I mean, I understand the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse is going to return to the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. This makes me very happy. I also don't mind you upgrading it, like I've mentioned before in the Haunted Mansion. The Haunted Mansion, they originally wanted the Hatbox Ghost when it was originally hit ground back in its day, and they didn't have the technology for it. But now that they do, guess what we have? The Hatbox Ghost, and we have the Bride, the story of the Bride. So you can upgrade each attraction as the technology makes it available. You can go back to the original concept art that the Imagineers had and make each ride more interesting within the ride, and that's how you make it grow. And I'm talking about Disneyland only. Walt Disney World, all bets are off. He never walked Walt Disney World. He went there before, but died before its inception. Was actually just, he never got to see it. So he never got to see all these other parks that we're doing. So Disneyland, you keep the way it is. This is, I've always said this. Those of you who have been on this channel before are like, yeah, Terry, we get it. Like Joe, he's been here a while. So he's like, I get it. But that's what I think. This is what I think. I think you uncover the Mary Blair mosaic because, it's there, and you can actually see and learn about some of the people that you've read about. Just my thought. I think that you need to, I think this would make it a very appealing place to go, and it would be like going back in time physically and seeing the things that Walt created and where he thought the park should be and go, not run down, not, you keep the technology, but you can have those fun attractions and things. I know, just my thought. I welcome yours. I welcome yours. Hoping to see you on the Zoom tonight. Make it a good day. Thank you, Connie. I will. Yes. Nothing really compares to Western Electric 500 phone and copper phone line connection, though. Just for talking on the phone, these were the pinnacles of the experience. Absolutely. I will agree with that. David, I love seeing someone you know on TV. Talent plus luck and timing plus yeah, yeah, yeah. I know, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Morning, Terry. Hi, Veronica. Good to see you, my love. Um, I'd love to be part of your crew. Let's start a Hardin Studios. Yeah. I mean, David, if I ever decide to do a crew, I don't know. I think I'm going to retire and do some of my own art. So that's my goal for the future. Right now, I'm doing some projects, and I still do one of a kinds for people. Right now, working on a big. I have 3 on deck. 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe. So it's very nice to have these one of a kinds that I'm doing for people. It's very exciting, and I want to continue to do those. But I'm going to taper off a little bit. That's why I encourage you guys to get to the Patreon page, because that one will remain consistent. I don't know what will happen with my YouTube channel right now. You don't need to panic or get concerned or what do you mean? Because it's something that I want to build before I start to take apart. So don't freak out or anything. I just need to do more. I want to get more in the YouTube universe, do it the way they do it. But I have to get some things done first. And that's just the way life is, isn't it, David? Yeah. Big hugs to you and your dad. I agree. Being with him is the most important. Thank you, Patricia. I appreciate that. So sweet of you to endorse that. Hey, Terry, I'd like the part when the game show host says you have 60 seconds on the clock in her country voice. It's so funny that you would say that. As I look, we are indeed winding down. Michelle says, heading out soon to see the Little Mermaid again. And this time taking my sister for her birthday. See you tonight. Yes. And this is what I mean. Repetition is the thing that's going to give the Little Mermaid her numbers, right? Right. So go for it, guys. That's good. Yes, about Disneyland. Such a tiny park. Let's keep it Disneyland. Yeah, David, I think it would really work. If you build it, they will come. A lot of people don't even know some of the things. I mean, wouldn't it be great to have an actual telephone? I think they still have the party line. But a lot of people don't understand some of this stuff. It would be great to have that, get to go back in time and see what it was like. And that is Disneyland. Only Disneyland, where Walt walks. So you could walk in Walt's footsteps and that actually be where Walt's footsteps led you. So that's what I'm saying. That's my feeling. Bob Burdine says, I agree. I called Rick for Milo kid, and he told me, you're just 2 years older than me. I am like you. If you're a day younger, I call you kid. Exactly. And it's an affectionate term, because in my brain, I'm 5 years old, just so you know. I'm always a 5-year-old. I love ice cream. If ever I'm sad and someone brings me an ice cream, it just automatically makes me go, my dear friend Evan from the tribe, he sometimes surprises me, or at least tells me, hey, guess what I baked for you? And he bakes Ted Lasso biscuits. So if you don't know that, again, that's a Ted Lassoism, but the biscuits are spectacular. And I always get excited when he bakes them, and they are amazing. Part of the reason the park is still packed is because there's another park right next door that encourages more visitors to the resort. That's probably true. But let's think about if we got rid. I mean, Joe brings up a very good point. Forgive me. There's just something here that's stuck and it's driving me crazy. Don't you guys love that somebody sits here and says, this is driving me crazy. I'm going to take care of it before we finish. Anyway, I'll worry about it later. Sorry, it just was bugging me. But Joe has a good point. He talks about there, but let's pretend that park did not exist and it was a parking lot, okay, where you park your cars. I believe it would still be crowded, because you have not only Disneyland Hotel, you have Paradise Pier, who are not across the way there. You also have the California Adventure Hotel, which would stay, right? So that's there, but you also have all the surrounding hotels in Anaheim. So there's plenty of places for people to go just to Disneyland. And Anaheim has so much to offer. Plus, if you're coming to California from another state, it's not far to go up and really see the Disney Family Museum, to pop over and take a look at the outside of Walt Disney Pictures, which is really beautiful. Um, and check that out. And then also other places like Universal Studios, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's lots to do. So I'm not sure. I just believe Disneyland, honestly, Joe, would still be as packed even if there was no such animal as the California Adventure Park. However, I have to tell you that I like the California Adventure Park. I don't frequent it much, but I like it because it's a place that you could put your modern stuff, like the stuff like Marvel. I would have put Galaxy's Edge over there, honestly. Um, and they have some really fantastic restaurants over there. There's a few decent restaurants in Disneyland, but the real quality restaurants are in California Adventure. And that's a really neat thing, with the exception of the Blue Bayou and Club 33. Okay, I get you. There's a couple there. Absolutely. But those two get very, very populated, and you're not able to get reservations. So California Adventure Park, they have a lot of restaurants like the Carthay, right? Is it Carthay restaurant? And if you go to the hotel, there's Storytellers and Napa Rose, which are both decent. There's that one by the pool that I really love. That is affordable but delicious food. Just I can't ever remember it, but it's right there by the pool. Outdoor al fresco dining at the California Adventure Resort, and it's wonderful. So there's lots of I really like the food choices are so much better. But maybe if the food choices weren't so good, Joe, less people would come. I don't know. But I think that it would still be as crowded because it's notoriety. Disneyland has such history that everybody wants to come and see it. And a lot of people from Walt Disney World who have never seen it before come and say, wow, it's awful small, but it's not small. It's intimate. And it's what Walt built. So remember that when you come, with respect. It's what Walt built. It's still a lot of what Walt built. You can still recreate the picture by walking out of the back of the castle and recreating the picture where he's walking out of the back of the castle. If you are so inclined, dress like Walt and walk out of the back of the castle, or dress like your favorite princess and walk out of the back of the castle and do that same Walt Disney walk. You can do that because he walked there. He was there. So that's why you go. That's why you go. Really, that's why you go. Yeah. It's like no other park. Joe says, I definitely would love newer versions of the Skyways, the People Mover, the rocket jets, etc. I say they should tear it all down and rebuild it rather than trying to rebuild it on the existing. And I think you have a point there. And I think they're thinking about this, Joe, because now that whole big build in Florida is not happening. Thanks for playing. Thanks for something else you heard here first. I never believed that the Imagineers would go over there because it's Florida. No offense if you're from Florida. That's not what I'm saying. But we're still Hollywood here. We're still a lot of movie studios based here. Yes, there's a lot in Atlanta, but I'm telling you guys, this is where it really functions well. Imagineers need to be here. And many Imagineers said that. I'm not going over there. I need to be here. Many also knew it wasn't going to last. Like the animators who were all over there for a while, but said, not loving it, and came back and now have that beautiful hat building, which is another thing you can see when you come to California. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And of course, guys, understand this is my channel, so it's my opinion, right? It's not that I'm saying you're wrong. Please don't get me wrong. If you disagree, feel free to disagree. Just don't attack the person. Just attack the idea if you disagree. I'm game. I love a good debate. I just don't like when people get personal. Things like you're out of your mind, people say. Or people saying, don't mansplain. What the heck? Don't do things that are going to hurt other people's feelings. Just attack the issue, not the human being, okay? That's not kind, and we need to be kind. Yeah, be kind. Debate the issue. Don't attack the person. Just my advice. The debates go a lot longer when you don't do that. Oh, Joe, never mind. Walt's Barn. Exactly, Ron. How could I forget Walt's Barn? Which, by the way, now every time Walt's Barn opens with amazing Disney enthusiasts and a great group called Carolwood Society, you've got Gunny doing the flag ceremony. And those of you who are not sure who Gunny is, he used to do the flag ceremony at Disney for years. Amazing, beautiful, fantastic until he was not there. And now he's at the barn, and it's absolutely a joy. And their loss, barn gain, definitely. Well said, Ron. Well said. Happy birthday month. I'm turning 53 on Sunday, June 11th. Woohoo! Double sticks. Yay for you. Wouldn't it have been interesting if you were born in November? So it would have been, 11, 11, 20, 11 or what 21. Ooh, what if it was like 11 11 and you live till the 21st, like 21 11. Wow, wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, sticks are a great good luck, those are good luck. 11 is a good luck moment, so be sure you make a wish since your birthday is on the 11th. Congratulations, David, and happy birthday. 53 is a good year. I liked it. You are so sweet. You have a nice day, Terry. Okay, Mike, you bet you are sweet as well. Takes one to know one, buddy. It's a living museum. Yeah. Yeah. Y'all know Mary Blair's mural is still behind the facade in Tomorrowland. My point exactly. Yeah. I mean, come on. Take that thing down and show that mural. In case you noticed, she's passed away and her work is spectacular. Wouldn't it be nice to see it? I mean, museums let us see things from centuries. My favorite artist, one of my biggest, most popular, is Michelangelo. I would hate for them to say, okay, we're going to modernize this museum and get rid of all the Rembrandts, all the Michelangelos, get rid of Pollock, get rid of Bosch. Yeah, really? The Palace of Versailles hasn't changed in forever in Paris. People go all the time. So why not do the same with Disneyland? As many of you said, it's a small park, even though I think you're full of baloney. It is an intimate park, but wouldn't it be great if you got to see where Walt actually walked and put your Walt hat on and pretend you're him for the day? I don't know about you, but that would be fun to walk into his brain a bit. I don't know. I just think that's what they should do. Joseph Yakovetic is in the house. How are you, my love? In keeping with your idea of exposing Mary Blair's murals in Tomorrowland, I think the Carousel of Progress should be turned into a Disney museum and bring out archival pieces and show 100 years of the Disney company. That would have been nice since it's the 100 years of Disney, Joe. And then someone like, is it Mencken? Who was out in front of Disney here for the writer's strike, and they sang. They all did a sing-along a few weeks back. It was incredible. Ask him to write a song, put it to music. We've got It's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. Now you just go, through the years without tears, whatever. Make a musical and people sit and they have that history going by. I think would be flippin' brilliant. Okay, let's look at it a little differently. But then, Joe, we do that. I do that. I'm an engineer. This is what we do. We're always about, hey, what makes it special? Let's not lose it. Let's not make it like every other park. That's what Walt didn't want. Is he wanted a place for older people and middle people and young people and kids and dads and people from another country and people from here to be able to go to a place to relax and sit and have that country Gibson girl feel while they sipped on a mint julep and ate an apple fritter, or they Dole Whipped while watching the Enchanted Drinking Room show. I'm telling you, just leave it be. And then help the technology grow. Do a few things that you originally wanted to do, but technology didn't allow that in that attraction. But keep that attraction. That's what I'm saying. Maybe that's sort of what I should have talked about today. But I'll tell you, life is crazy. And I think you are absolutely right, Joseph. I love this idea. I think this would be so fun. I'd be first in line to see it. And I probably wouldn't leave. I'd just say, "Can't just keep rotating and playing the music. When I was single." No, wait. That's America Sings. Dressed up real fine. Now I am married. Go ragged all the time. Lord. You remember that song? The rabbit with the babies in America Sings. See, I'm telling you, you go there and you feel it and you see it and you love it. So yeah, Carousel of Progress, America Sings, or 100 Years of Disney with someone like Menken or the Sherman, one of the Sherman brothers we've lost, but we have the other one. And oh my gosh, someone could write a really cool musical and make that happen. Oh, it's a great idea, Joseph. Brilliant. You're making me cry. So true what you're saying. I love you, Joseph. Joseph is an artist and friend. And this is one of the things that happens when you gather at certain places as a artist, Imagineer, or Disney artist, Imagineer, happen to work with the Disney company. You get together with artists because it does take a village. And despite what people tell you that have never worked there, it can be a magical place because you're with magical brains, all the brains that are all about creativity. And it's just so fun to be there. And Joseph's one of these people. He's just delightful, always trying to stretch my brain, and vice versa. When we talk, we talk about some of the things that we aspire to do. And can we do it? We're not sure. But it's always good to open a door, and because it could lead to another opportunity. And you never tire of that. Learning is fundamental. And the key word of that is fun. So gosh, great to see you, Joe. Seriously, really, really a pleasure. You need to be in the tribe, buddy. But there you go. That's a great idea. Even though Terry skipped my comment about being a time of my youth and people still go to museums, my point there is to draw especially for baby boomers. Yeah, exactly. And sorry about that, Bob. I thought I got it, but I apologize. I'm just going to blame it on Monday. You know, my Mondays are crazy, but he's right. He's absolutely right. And I just think that the Disney people are too worried that no one would come. And I know y'all would. You guys love the Disney Family Museum. You love that model. There are so many things that we could do as Imagineers to make that Disneyland special, but retro. First of all, we call it retro because that's what the young people really like, is that retro. Okay, I will tell you how I know this before I go. I will tell you how I know this. I know this because I have garage sales only a couple times a year because my city only allows a couple times a year. They don't want you to become, the swap meet in your community. So they only allow you 2 times that you can do your garage sales. But those 2 times are awful fun. And I usually do it with my dear friend, Josie Katz. And Josie has a lot of vintage stuff that she is got a part with, a lot from the 60s and some of it from the 50s, but mostly from the 60s. And then I may have stuff from the 70s and 80s because that's when I grew up. But go figure. I have a few things and I can always show you something. And maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll take you a walk through 1977. If that's something you would enjoy, we'll do a video about that. Post in the comments. Let me know. Message me. Tell me what you want to see. And I'll work on doing it because this is the time that the channel is, everything is in flux when you're broadcasting. Some people out there got it down and it just stays rock solid. With me, it's always in flux and it will always be in flux. So if you're kind of an everything everywhere all at once kind of person, this is the channel for you, really, because it does all kinds of different stuff. Really crazy wild. I never know what I'm fully going to talk about. I start out with something, and then based on your comments, I go wherever you go, which is what maybe I should say that. Terry TV, go where you go. But yes, the point is that it's such, people come to our garage sale because they look for her and her things. She's got great stuff. And, percolators. You remember the percolator? Now, some of you are too young, but you still know about this stuff because you've searched on it on Google and it just fascinates you, like the Walkman or the iPod. right? I've had people walk up and go, "Do you have one of those old iPods that had 120 gigabytes of storage, or do you happen to have the video one?" Which I do and did. I actually sent it to my nephew from my son from another mother, and he was thrilled to have it. I think he still uses it, because these things, even though, they like that classic stuff. So much so that people are starting to repurpose, rebuild, redo vinyl. A lot of artists are coming out with vinyl again. You know it. I haven't seen a lot of it, but I mean, I go to the store and go, wow, this is vinyl I haven't seen in a while. And that's because I used to love it because the artwork, you had this big area for the rock bands to put, and singers could put their artwork, and it was always wonderful. It's just beautiful artwork. So when it finally went down to this and then MP3 or 4, and it's a little, it was like, so it's just really nice. And many of you that are in your 30s and 40s and 20s, and some of you in your teens, really like getting this classic vinyl. I mean, it comes back to me all the time. So you come to the garage sale, you see this stuff, and you just gobble it up. They love her section, and we don't garage sale her stuff. Her stuff has certain prices on it because of what it is, and people just come because they want to see that classic stuff for real. Brand new percolators, which was a thing. You put that horrible coffee in this little thing, and water went through it, and the coffee would go bloop, bloop, bloop in the little bubble. And it's those classic coffee pot percolators with the plug and yeah. My mother used to have one, and then they poured the coffee from it and everything. And they're usually glass. They're amazing. Several came and asked about the silver Christmas tree. And this I'll do before I go. The silver Christmas tree was a tree that you set up, an aluminum artificial tree. Many of you know what I'm talking about, and many of you young people do too, because this is the tree you've been looking for, where you take each branch and you put it in the pole, and it's silver. It has silver fluffy. It's silver, and it can be anywhere from 4 feet to 6 feet. And Josie has one, but she will not part with it. But kids came up and said, "Do you have one? Do you have one? Do you have one?" They want this. So you're out there. So my point, what is my point? Let's bring it back to Disneyland. I think you would have the right amount of people going, everybody enjoying themselves and having a great time with the rides they know, the rides they love, the ride they understand, and the things that Walt saw when he did it, And if you don't like that retro thing to visit, go across the way to California Adventure and see all the modern stuff. Going back to Joe Penny's theory that more people are populating Disneyland because you've got another park across the street. Well, hey, why not have this one be retro? Disneyland's retro. And then you got the modern one over here. So you might pop in and see the retro one just because of the vicinity. You see, this is the way Imagineers think. We're like, hey, this could really work. Bring down crowds, bring up excitement, and bring cool stuff back, because you could what? Actually walk with your grandkids or your kids through in Walt's footsteps, just like Walt did. Wouldn't that be cool? You can still do it now, but it's not as cool as it was a few years ago when there were more rides available. But seriously, guys, I think this should happen. So I agree with Joe Yakovetic. Yeah, and do this thing of, oh man, 100 years of Disney would have been awesome if you have a theater where things rotate and you just change the venues. Oh! You still have the classic theater, a la Walt, but you have different shows. How cool is this? Man, they should be talking to me more. I should not be the come here, get away, Imagineer. I should be someone they check in with regularly. Right, Joe Yakovetic? Right, Joe Penny? Right, Bob Burdine? Right, Davids? Yep. Right, Mike? And what do you think, Ron? And what do you think? Boy, there's fewer women on this. I'm looking at this, and Michelle. There we go. There's a woman's name. There's our girl. There's Michelle. Awesome. Okay. You are both so very creative, and you step out of your wheelhouse, and the results are amazing. I've witnessed it firsthand. Imagine sitting at a table with Terry, Joseph, and Willie. We just love being a fly on the wall. Yeah, you get us together, and it's really wild. Yeah, it's really wild. I don't do a lot of interviewing because to get that all coordinated on top of everything else I have to do. But maybe when a little less is on my plate, we'll tweak the channels again and do something like that. But that's for later. You've got lots of places where they interview people, and many are kind enough to interview me. So you get that opportunity. Absolutely. Great people doing great stuff. So, yes, Bob, thank you for saying that. I have been doing my exercises every day, Terry. Good for you. Keep it up. I need to do that too, Mike. Yes, says Bobberdine. Absolutely. They won't even take a call. They won't even take a call or return emails. What's up with that? Come on now. You have to be of good courtesy and good. And here's Bob with a cute little face to say, we've been here an hour and a half. That is a good time to be talking to you on a Monday. Guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for staying. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for tuning in every Monday or every Monday and Friday. Thank you for the kind and wonderful words about the pre-records that I do every Friday and your understanding that I'm looking to transition. Many YouTubers say it's good to do these pre-records because you can be more consistent and you make the lives special, the live broadcast more special. I just saw this wonderful tour Viking cruise ship channel where a lot of it is pre-recorded and every once in a while they pop in live, which to me was like, ooh, that sounds fun. So we may do that more in the public channel, but understand the Patreon channel will always have the lives in the morning, both Monday and Friday, and then as of now, and then a Zoom call, because I just feel that that's something that is very important for that Patreon page. Quite a bit for $5 a month. Many people who have a Patreon page are very surprised at me giving that much of my personal time for just $5 a month. But hey, I do it. It's not to pat myself on the back. It's what I need, as well as I think the community is just so much fun to be in. So I'm always going in myself, jumping in. Wah! Oh boy, it's tribe time. Yeah. So I kind of have that attitude. And it's not that I don't like my public channel. I love it. But that tribe stuff is real special. I cannot tell you. You got to go check it out. So please, $5 a month, patreon.com/Terri Hardin. Let me polish it up one more time to make it easy for you to find. This is where you go. Check it out. If you want to do a higher portal, you're welcome to that. But this $5 a month is a good one. So come join us. Tell your friends. The bigger, the better. Everyone is welcome. The more, the merrier. And I hope I see you there. Okay, my beautiful people. Let's see one more statement here. I'd like to see Terri Hardin traveling flea market. David, you make a joke, but that actually is a really good idea. I may have to just do that. Yeah. I won't explain it now, but that's a good note to leave. Guys, do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. If you're feeling yourself lost and depressed, when you do something for someone else that is kind and sweet, it does permeate into your body as well. Like many have said, they love to, one of the people in my tribe, Tammy, she crochets and goes through Disneyland and does giveaways. The joy that people see from the little characters that she crochets and gives to people, doesn't sell them, she gives them to people. She sees their faces light up, and that showers all that good karma and good kindness feeling on her body. So doing something nice, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend any money. Just taking a quick chance to call someone you haven't talked to in a while does the same thing. So I want to encourage you to do something nice so that you get out and don't feel so melancholy. I am at a time in my life when I could easily get weighted down by my own magma that's going on in my life, but being able to see you every Monday with the tribe, every Monday and Friday with the tribe, and seeing you every Monday and creating something for you on Fridays is very special to me. So again, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for coming, staying, and sharing it with your friends. Hugs, kisses, love to you, and I will see you next Monday. Mwah. Be well, be safe, and have a good week. Bye for now. I keep looking up because it's a different camera. What is that about?